Life isn't always all bread and butter, so this pickle is here to help you deal with all that life throws your way.
Hey, if you can't handle the heat of these hot markets, you might have to get yourself an emotional support pickle to deal with it. Guys, I know that there are people out there struggling and having questions. I get a lot of questions in the comments and in the Discord, and I want to take you guys back to square one. There are 3 phases to trading: learning, testing, and then execution. And I know by personal experience, because when I got a pile of money, I actually got an inheritance years ago, and I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to get into the markets and I'm going to grow this little bag of cash. And the very first thing I did is I went straight to execution. And I know that that is also the fastest path to learning expensive lessons. The whole reason I'm on YouTube is because I'm trying to give you guys the opportunity to do some learning and some testing before you jump the gun in execution. It's one of the things that I'm providing in the Discord, which is the Stock Squad Patreon, where I'm giving you guys breakdowns of my trades in advance. Today, I did a trade alert for next week, which is going to be Amazon, as well as a review and an update on Eli Lilly. Today, we're going to kick things off with crypto, because crypto is on fire and there's a number of cryptos that are on an absolute burner right now. What the surprise is regarding these crypto price moves is what's called a change of character. It's when something had been in a tight price range, never seeming to break out, always seeming to go a little bit lower, but now we're in the reverse of that. It gets to the top of the price range. We think the move is over, but there's a change of character. It keeps going higher. I'm going to show you guys one of the hottest cryptos out there today, and we're going to get into some of my big tech stock plays as well. This is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you guys for joining me today. We're going to just start off with the crypto heat map. Let's take a look at that. We see that yesterday the big runner was Ethereum, but today it's in gray. It's essentially cooling off. Bitcoin's having a nice day, but the big outlier, the one that's been pumping day after day and really squeezed today, was Solana. It's on an absolute burner, and I can tell you right now what I'm smelling is I'm smelling the rich smell of FOMO, fear of missing out. It's around this time that people really begin to pay attention, because things are going beyond the point where they expected. They expected another little blip up and a continuation to the downside, and people are beginning to panic because they didn't buy the crypto winter, and they're ignoring some of the technicals I give on this page. The very last time I covered Solana, we were sitting at $56, and I told you that this move wouldn't be over until we got to $75. Today, we started off and touched the $74 range, and I still don't think this move is over. I think we're going to find a home pretty soon between $75 and $78. And if you recall, one of the charts that I showed you the last time was a flag pattern, which I told you guys was a continuation pattern, and that's exactly what's happened with Solana. The move has continued. But the big question is, where is Solana going next? Well, according to Arthur Hayes, it's going to hit $100. Solana Sol price ignition. Arthur Hayes hints at imminent $100 milestone. In this article, he basically says that the ecosystem is thriving, and he yet again reminds everybody what Solana's advantage is over Ethereum. He basically is telling you guys that a Solana is going to be an Ethereum killer. And I want to give you guys this analogy because it really did really well back in the day for me to paint a picture of how hard it is for Ethereum, which I'm not dissing on Ethereum. I've got a bigger bag of Ethereum than I do Solana, but I think this story is what we need to be looking at. It was this idea that Ethereum was such a large plane, it had taken the entire crypto market off the ground alongside Bitcoin. Ethereum's been sometimes referred to as the oil of crypto, while Bitcoin is the gold of the crypto market. And the thing I would have you try to imagine is trying to overhaul or rebuild a plane while it's in flight. So that's the big problem that Ethereum has, is that it's got competition, like competitors like Solana, that are simply able to move faster in development. Cheaper and quicker transactions is the game. And what it's all going to come down to is the excitement that surrounds the project and people migrating onto the project. And so right now, this guy is reminding all of us that yes, this thing could easily hit $100 because there's a buzz around Solana. And I'm just going to add to that and say this, that Solana, in all of the time that I've watched this company, they're great at making connections, and they're even better at messaging, creating a buzz around what they're doing. Now, I didn't plan on talking about the crypto I'm about to mention, but I'm going to contrast what I like about Solana is what I dislike about a coin called Jasmy. Now, some of you guys might love Jasmy. Now, I bought $1,000 of Jasmy back in the day. I'm holding it, and we'll see what comes of it. But what I've really disliked about that particular crypto project is the lack of messaging, the lack of buzz. Really what in my mind, I believe has suppressed the price of that coin. But the opposite is true with Solana. These guys are perhaps the best at it. They continuously are drawing the crowd. They're continuously drawing the excitement. And I think that $100 is a realistic target in the days to come. Right now, you know that I go by the charts, and the charts tell me that it's going to find resistance between $75 and $78, and that's where it could cool off and come back a little bit, but we're not quite there just yet. We hit $74 today. We inched very, very close to it, and I'm excited about that. Now he does offer up another reason why Solana is going to hit $100, and I think it's actually an accurate prediction, but it's an ominous reason. And the reason that it gives is that Solana is extremely centralized. And that is one of the biggest criticisms of the Solana network, is that it's controlled, it's centralized, that there's a ton of VC venture capital shark investors who are driving and pumping this. Now, we saw that when this thing came out originally, it was pumped by FTX, and that's what caused it to reach and soar to all-time highs. And there is still the concern that it's still going to be VC sharks that are buying, pushing, and driving this with the goal of ultimately dumping it on the retail community. And so I'm just going to give you guys this warning regarding Solana, is that I would call this one of the most potentially manipulated large cap coins out there, and it's going to have wild swings up, and again, it's going to have wild swings down. So don't get all in and just buy the narrative that it's going to the moon. Don't take profits too early, but you do want to consider taking profits at some point. And remember that this thing in the winter went all the way down below $10. Pretty scary. All right, I'm going to take a quick station break before I get into some of the big tech stocks I'm going to cover today. Real quick, if you need better trade tools, I want you to consider checking out the offer from the Moomoo Investment app. This is a zero cost to trade platform that's giving away free stock. And if you need a better trade platform, it's available in the US, Australia, and Canada. And the offer in the US right now is to receive up to 15 free stock, as well as if you just want to put some cash and sit it in the exchange, they'll give you 5.1% interest, which is a pretty nice deal. Click on the link to get your free stock, start earning some money on your cash, and to get some better trade tools. All right, if we look at the S&P 500 heat map, we see that it's largely a mixed day with big tech. Some are doing well, some are cooling off. Google had a massive run, and today it's cooling off. Now, I'm not really scared of Google. I had a couple call options from yesterday, but I'm simply watching them. I didn't cut them loose. I'm just going to keep an eye on them and look for an opportunity to scale, because I think that there is still opportunity to the upside. Remember, we've got a buy signal on Google, and so I think we are going to see some form of a continuation. I don't have a large position size, and so I'm just holding the couple calls that I've got. But what I'm into today is to talk to you guys about Tesla. Now, Tesla is in a very interesting place. I think that there's a huge opportunity sitting on the table, and Tesla's going to tell us which direction it wants to go very, very soon. Basically, we're between this window of support at 233 and ultimately an area that we could hit ahead of us at 262. Now, I don't really see any bearish fundamentals or the overall market being bearish enough to try to take Tesla back down to test its lower range of support. So I think that even though we may continue to vacillate in this tight pattern that we're in, and we're not just going to immediately go up, I ultimately think, like I said about a couple weeks ago, right when we were at the tail end of November, I said that December was going to be a buy the dip month. Now, We have to see that play out. Right now, I'm going to lean towards buying the dip on Tesla for moves potentially up to 262. I just wanted to give you guys my basic bias for Tesla, and I'm still bullish. Now, Amazon. I gave a trade setup in the Discord today because Amazon is going to be the focus of my trade for next week. Amazon is what I'm calling the trade of the week, and I see it setting up potentially for a very, very big move. But it's kind of looking similar to a lot of big tech right now, which is that it's moved up. It could have a breakout move to touch the top of its range, but that could very well be a bear trap right now. Because we're at the top of the range, if you load up to go long to try to get that additional squeeze up, that's what's referred to as a bull trap. So as always, we're going to watch a range on Amazon. We're going to go to puts if it goes to the downside, or we're going to go to calls if it goes to the upside. What we're looking for as a confirmation that this thing is going to go higher is a move above $149. And if that happens, and we close on the daily time frame chart, I believe that we're going to go up all the way to $154 and then $158. Amazon is looking pretty good. Now, a move above $150 would be what I'd refer to again as a change of character. It would be taking us out of a trade range that it's been in for most of 2023 and putting us into the trade range above, which is going to be 150 all the way to 180, 175. So moving into that trade range would be a really big deal for Amazon, and you would see a ton of volume come in because it would wake up investors and it would wake up Wall Street. To see that price range kick open would be pretty bullish. Now, on the alternative side, if we begin to capitulate and things begin to sell off, which there hasn't been any signal that that's happening yet. Right now, we're going into close today with some decent volume. But if for some reason we had some bad news over the weekend and the market decided that it wanted to sell off on Monday, the area where I would consider entering puts on Amazon would be a close beneath $144.70. Now, what it could do, it could come all the way down to that level and it could bounce and ultimately move higher. So you want to look for confirmation for a close above 149 or a close below 144.70. That's what I'm doing with Amazon. And then I'm going to talk about Eli Lilly. This will be the third video in the row. I'm up 40% on my call options, and Eli Lilly is pushing up against my target of 598. And it's a similar story there. I wanted to take a minute and break it down just a little bit more for those who are attempting to invest swing Eli Lilly. We could come up to 598, which could serve as resistance. But the whole idea is that if it breaks above it and closes above it with volume, then it's confirmation that we're going to move very quickly up to $613. But until it breaks through, it could also be a potential area where some people are going to short it. Now, those people that would short at 598, they're going to be ones who get into it early and have much higher risk. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. Now, I am in some call options, like I said, on Eli Lilly, and they're up nicely, and I'm hoping that we will see that breakout above 598 and the squeeze up to 613 and then even 634 and then even up to 650 is possible. We're going to have to watch it very carefully, and I'll let you guys know. I'll give you an update next week on what happens, but I'm definitely going to be holding these calls going into the weekend, and we'll see what happens. Guys, I also wanted to give you just a general update of my schedule. On Monday, I'm going to be heading off to Hawaii. I'm going to spend the rest of the year in Hawaii with my daughters and their husbands and my son and wife. I will be making videos, and I actually will be working diligently on some plans and some new announcements that I have in 2024. So I will unfortunately be a little bit less available, but I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you for hitting the like. Hit that subscribe if you want the updates that are ahead of us. As always, my dear friends, I'll see you in the comments. Peace and blessings. Take care.